Greetings everyone. In this brief video I'll be going over a couple of problems that you'll have assigned in Connect this week. A couple of things I want to mention about the template for those who haven't used these before or haven't had a class with me before. These templates are designed to provide support for you in checking answers and making sure you're solving some of these problems correctly. These are designed to supplement the author's solutions, which are made available to the students after the due date of the assignment. So these templates are only designed to assist in checking the answers to your problems. The exercises that are assigned in Connect as well are not covered in these templates. I'll be going over these problems using some alternative data to assist you in completing the assignment. So in the purple shaded cells, we'd enter the data given in the problem. Yellow shaded cells generally represent the answer, and then gray shaded cells are intermediary calculations. So generally, we won't need to enter anything in the gray cells or the yellow cells. They should populate automatically. But the purple cells, we do enter information directly into those. You'll notice also that I have red cells. Now these red cells would only be seen in the demonstration video. So when you access the templates in BlackBoard, there will be no red cells, because I use the red cells to alter the data in the problem. So I do enter data directly in the red cells as though they were purple, but I have shaded them red to show that the information is different than what you would see in the problem, and of course that changes the answers. So the red cells are not something you need to worry about or be concerned about if you decide to use these templates to check your answers. Again, these are designed to support the problems that are assigned, not the exercises. The exercises, which are generally less comprehensive and less difficult, I do not provide the templates for. You don't have to use the templates. You can completely ignore them, but if you'd like to, after you've completed the assignment, access the templates, and then if you made an error somewhere along the way, sometimes the templates and the formulas can assist you in finding where the error was, as well as the solutions the authors provide in Connect. So let's look at the first problem. Number 2, which is found at the end of the chapter 2 in this case. We're given some accounts with the balances for debits and credits. So I enter that information directly in the purple cells. And then I do have some data entry cells in the T accounts below. So if we'll look at a few of the journal entries then for problem number 2, and I'll just go through a few of these to demonstrate how this template works, because chapter 2 is just a review of the accounting process. So on January 1st, we sold merchandise for $3,500. The cost of the merchandise was $2,000, and the company uses the perpetual inventory system, which will be the primary system we'll use in this course. So January 1st, I have changed the information so that the sale price is not $3,500, but rather $3,755. So I've entered hard-coded $3,755 in the cell here on January 1st, and then that will automatically populate the revenue account. And let me pull that up here. Sales revenue here of $3,755. So that will automatically populate when you enter the information in this cell. Okay, so I've got the sales size done for the transaction. Now I need to look at the cost side, and they say it costs $2,000. So if I go to my cost of goods sold, I've changed that to $1,900. So you would enter $2,000 here. I'm just using $1,900 to change the answer. And then, of course, with a debit of cost of goods sold, we're going to need a credit to inventory, and that will automatically populate in the inventory account. And that's it. That's the retail and the cost side of this sale to a customer. Let's look at another example on, let's go to January 10th in this problem. On January 10th, we purchased merchandise on account for $9,500. So we know that if we're purchasing merchandise on account, we're going to enter a liability, and that is a credit to accounts payable. I've changed the amount from $9,500 to $9,700. So I've entered directly the $9,700 for accounts payable, and then the merchandise automatically updates at the debit side for $9,700. And then one more transaction at the very end, January 31st. The company paid a cash dividend of $1,000 to shareholders. So we know then that if we paid $1,000 on January 31st, That's going to be a credit to cash. So I entered directly in the purple cell $1,000. I didn't alter the data here. And then we know that if we have a credit to cash, since we paid a dividend, we're going to debit directly into the dividends account. So we'll debit $1,000 into dividends. And as you know, we could just as easily have debited into the retained earnings. The effect is the same. However, many companies use dividends accounts to keep track of quarterly or monthly dividends that are paid and keep them separate out of retained earnings. And then dividends gets close to retained earnings at the end of the reporting period. So that's the way in which we enter data into the T accounts. Update the balances will update automatically. And then finally, we're going to produce our adjusted trial balance. And since these are all yellow shaded cells, all the balances from the bottom of each of these T accounts will transfer and update your adjusted trial balance. And that's problem number 2. Over to number 3, there's a lot of data here to enter. So just take the information given in the problem and punch the information in. If you decide to use these templates, you certainly, as I say, you don't have to. Or just use them. The preferred use for these templates is just to check your answer. That's really what they're designed for. Okay, so I've entered the data directly into the purple shaded cells. Now I've got those adjusting entries, those year-end adjusting entries. So I have 1, 2, 3 cells that I'm going to have to enter data into, and instead of being purple like they are in the template, they're red in this case because I'm using altered data. So let's look at a few of them. Number 1, in problem number 3, this adjusting entry, depreciation on the office equipment for the year is $10,000. So I just change the value from $10,000 to $9,600, and then that'll transfer down to the journal entry. Now, in terms of the account titles, if you ever want to know what account title to use, of course, you'd go to the unadjusted trial balance and you can check the account title to use. You may find that these cells are blank as you use the template, so the numbers will transfer over, but these will remain blank. A couple options here. You could just type in the account title, you can enter your own formulas and have them come down. However, you may notice when you use these templates that oftentimes when I have conditional formatting here, which I do in this case, and as you're looking at the blank template, once you get the adjustments made or all the data entered, you might notice that these account titles will appear for you. So if you have the correct accounts that have been updated and you have the correct adjusting entries, then the conditional formatting will activate these cells and you'll see them appear. If they don't, then something is wrong and you'll have to go back and check your work. And let's look at then one more journal entry. On journal entry number 5, which is down here, April 1st, 2021, the company paid an insurance company $6,000 for a 2-year fire insurance policy. The entire $6,000 was debited to prepaid insurance. So again, the information is entered. So let's see for number 5. I'm going to go to cell 128, and that is going to take the information above. Because the gray cells are intermediary, so it'll take the information above, and then it'll fractionalize in this case, the insurance premium. And then that amount in the gray cells, that calculated amount, and I've given the formulas to the side, that amount where you took the prepaid insurance and you went ahead and adjusted, and of course this would have been done for you, then that amount, that calculated amount, is transferred directly down to the journal entry down here. So as I say, I do provide the formulas, and then of course just clicking on the cells, you'll be able to see the formula as well. And again, this will just take the information given to you in your unadjusted trial balance, and then it'll calculate the answer. Okay, so and again, that will be transferred directly down to your yellow shaded cells, which are the final answer. Right, so your answers will be different because I do have red cells where I've altered the data. Otherwise, the procedure is the same. Please let me know if you have any questions on these problems or any of the concepts or exercises in Chapter 2.